Okay, welcome back to the Marine Corps Movie Minute, where we are discussing the movies of the Marine Corps 1 minute at a time. Currently, we're in the middle of doing Heartbreak Ridge, or we're past the middle at this point, because we've hit minute 92. And my name is Brian.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Alice.
Hi, welcome back, Alice.
Yes, so much fun. It
We're-
is. I'm not being sarcastic, I promise. I know we promoted ourselves in a interesting way last minute, but
Yeah.
this is more fun than I anticipated.
well, we appreciate that, and it's fun
Of
having you
course.
on.
Yeah.
The minute begins with Webster being put in his place, and it ends with some glad handing.
Yeah.
If you want to say some lack of social distancing.
Oh yeah, I remember what those days were like.
Yeah, way back in 2019.
Yeah, no.
So is Webster not their superior? Because I mean I had to
No.
learn all of these levels and who staff sergeant, this is the lieutenant, and they're higher and they're this and they're that, and I'm like, wait, because part of me, as I was talking about last minute, was kind of this: how can they talk to their superior in that way and be such jerks to him?
So you got your officer ranks, which are usually your college educated. Those are your I guess you call your leadership, and then you have your enlisted ranks. So Webster was a staff sergeant. He's a lower rank than Gunny. Gunny is a lower rank than Choozoo. Now, officers are saluted by, well, let's say, enlisted have, well, shit. How do you do? I'm trying. It's so if you never really lived it, it's not hard to understand, but it's sometimes it's kind of tricky to explain.
Because yesterday I learned all about like the nuances, and I felt this too when I first saw it. But I learned all the nuances of like who you call sir, and, like
those would be your officers.
Thing. Yeah.
In this case, a staff sergeant is outranking every single one of those Recon Marines that were in that bathroom, in that head. So he's above, his rank is above them, but they don't report directly to him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, that was something I was going to bring up as far as the disrespect that they're showing a staff sergeant like that. Now, he may not be their platoon sergeant, Gunny Highway is, but he is first platoon's platoon sergeant, and they all fall under Major Powers' command. So that's somebody still kind of in your command structure, even though it's not directly your boss. And just the fact that he's a staff sergeant alone, and I think the highest ranking person there is a corporal.
Yeah.
So, that's the level of disrespect that they're showing him right now would not fly.
No, not in the normal Marine Corps, no.
If he really wanted to be a dick, he can now then charge them with, try to write them up with Article 15, right? Isn't it Article 15?
I don't remember. I never got written up.
Whichever one is, whatever. It's the one where it's basically like, there was actually one where it was like, it wasn't really punishment, but they would put it in your record that you did something.
Oh, a page
11?
Yeah, that's page 11.
I got a page 11.
Administrative punishment. Yeah.
It was but it wasn't even like administrative. I mean, you're right. It was administrative. I mean, but there was like no punishment involved with it. It was literally just like, we're going to put it's like getting a negative on your at school or something, like
your report card, demerit.
Yeah. Like on your report card, you got like a check minus instead of a check. And I got one of those one time for some bullshit reason by some bullshit staff sergeant, actually. I'm not bitter.
Yeah. Which one was it?
I'm not going to say names, but I can't think of his name anyways. That's why I'm not going to say it. Bro, I wasn't even there. Yeah, I showed up and I was like, they were like, hey, they need to see a G1 or S1. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. They're like, hey, sign this. I'm like, sign what? You got a page 11. I'm like, I'm not signing shit. And they're like, you gotta. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't even know what this is. I have literally no idea what this is. They got a call from the sergeant major. Sergeant major saw me making a stink about it. And he's like, what's going on? I think I was a Lance Corporal at the time. What's going on, Lance Corporal Lockhart? I said, sir, I got a page 11. I have nobody. I've been on a working party for like 2 months. I haven't even seen my, command. I have no idea what this is for. Why don't you go back and talk to them? And then we'll discuss signing it. I said, okay, thanks, Sergeant Major. And next thing I know, that staff sergeant's coming to me. Hey, man, why'd you throw us under the bus? I'm like, I didn't throw anybody under the bus. You guys threw me under the bus. Yeah, Sergeant Major called him. He must have called him and was like, "What are you doing?" They were
Yeah,
playing.
what the
They were
fuck?
playing fuck games.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it happens.
I mean, I wasn't really making any friends at that time, but
Nothing's changed.
well, yeah, right. Well, but anyways, yeah, there's just no way that. I mean, I guess they're kind of thinking that so Webster's kind of a pushover. He's kind of a kiss ass. He's kind of a an asshole. And I think they're just feeling pretty big and bad because they got Gunny protected them. They just won against First Platoon, and they got what 10 of them all just standing there in their
Yeah.
tidy whities.
Yeah, it's like, well,
Alice, this wasn't planned. I think the last time you were on, these guys were
Yes,
out.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh, now it's hot guys, but with context. It's great. And then
Yeah.
seeing Swede, I mean, forget about it. And then I mean, and that actor today even looks. I mean, I guess I don't say just as good, but just as like muscly and just as much of a fitness nut and everything. I was planning to watch some of his videos, but I mean, he still looks really good. So
Yeah, he's the same age now that basically around the same age as Clint Eastwood was filming this movie. And as good a shape as Clint Eastwood is, Pete Koch is in phenomenal shape.
oh my gosh, yeah.
And by the way, Pete Koch, friend of the show.
friend of the show.
Friend of the show? All
Friend of
right,
the
hook me up. Is he single? No, I don't want to date a 58-year-old man. No.
But he has been bestowed friend of the show status, and he did not object. So it's sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, as a matter of fact, Alice, we discussed with Pete Koch, Moses Gunn and his acting and how good he is in this movie, playing what is this character and some of the funny bits about this particular scene. I think it's minute 92. Moses Gunn comes in, Webster trying to get everybody to rat out, and there's a funny little bit with you, Pete, where you come out of the other side of I guess the head.
Came out of nowhere, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because in one of the scenes you leave because you're like, I don't want any part of this. But then when they start telling him he's trying to threaten everybody, you just come right up from behind him. And it's such a funny moment because it's kind of what I was kind of joking or when I was watching it, thinking of like, this is probably how they thought it was going to go with Clint Eastwood or Gunny Highway when we first meet you in the film. And it didn't. But Webster was much more intimidated, and it's just funny because you don't say anything. I think Rodney Hill puts his hand on you, kind of almost like holding you back, and he's just he's just like, I guess I'll go now. And he didn't say anything, but it's just a funny little bit of you just showing up and your presence being there just is intimidating, and of course it gives Stitch and the rest of the crew to that little bit of extra backbone to just tell them to don't go away, mad, just go away.
Go away.
Which to this day, because of that line, whenever I say like don't go away, mad, just go away, it's and I kind of I always have to put a little growl and gravel into it, like this is a quotable movie for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. But that scene was with Moses Gunn, God rest his soul, who's such a wonderful man. I almost wished he had more to do in that movie because he was such a great actor and he was just so pleasant to be around. We were staging that scene, getting ready to shoot it. Clint's like, all right, Moses, you're going to stand here. Pete, let's see, I want to shoot it here, but there's not much room here, huh? And just go stand over there. Just go right over there. But I was like, I could only get like 2 feet away from Moses because I was up against the wall. You couldn't really, it was just a weird spot. I don't know why they chose this,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I said to Moses, isn't this kind of weird? I'm so close to you. He just laughed and goes, oh, it's okay. This will be fine.
Yeah, it worked out fine on screen, but you can. Yeah, it is like it's like in the doorway. Everybody just kind of standing there.
What are you doing in the doorway like this?
Yeah. And yeah, he's great in this movie. I mean, just really everybody does their job well in this film. There's really nobody that I would stand out and go, they probably could have recast this actor or this actress. Like everybody's pretty solid in this movie. And
Yeah.
he's great. Like he does a lot with what he gets. The character he plays is kind of a kiss ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moses Gunn's a cool dude. I've seen him in other things.
Yeah.
But he's just so good of this. There's a scene it's actually before the pit when they're getting the briefing. I think it's back in like mid '85, and they're getting the briefing from Major Powers about what they're going to do, what the objective is for this exercise. And you can see you and the rest of the Recon Marines sitting in the background. At one point, Moses Gunn, Staff Sergeant Webster says, "Oh, Major Powers, I'd be honored if you led our platoon." And it's such a teacher you forgot to assign his homework on a Friday type moment. But he plays that character so well. Like, it's so good.
Agreed. Really, really well, and had everybody understanding that his role in this movie was the thankless one,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't going to go his way.
Right.
So somebody's got to take that too.
Yeah, there's a scene towards the end. We're bouncing all over, but there's a scene at the very end when the colonel comes in and chews out Major Powers. And basically
Yeah.
he says, "You're a walking clusterfuck of an infantry officer. Basically you're dismissed." And
Right.
and Moses Gunn's, or Staff Sergeant Webster's reaction to Choozoo and Tom Highway and what all just happened is classic, because he hitched his horse to Major Powers.
Yeah.
And they
Mm.
just took that horse out the pasture and shot it because his leg was broken. Like, and he's like, "Shit, now what do I do?" The look on his face, he doesn't say anything. It's just the look on his face is like, "Well, I guess I got to go follow the guy I chose to back, even though he's not clearly the right guy." And he
Yeah.
just walks out, and it's just such a good little moment. And it's not even a moment. It's not even like, it's more about Clint Eastwood and Sergeant Major Choozoo and all that good stuff. But it's just such a great little scene.
Yeah, somebody's over here calling my name. I think I'll go find out who it was.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, wasn't that great hearing from Pete Koch once again? Anyways, yeah, we had Pete Koch on a few times, so we got we're gonna put some audio in on this minute actually. So you're gonna be connected with him in a roundabout way.
Wow, we're on the
There you go.
same podcast.
All right, there you go. Forever linked.
He was a football player, right?
Yeah, in fact, he was a football player during this
Mhm.
during this recording, or this filming actually. He had about, what do you say, 4 or 5 weeks before he had to report to spring training, and he was a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in fact, he said they kind of moved some things around so that he could get out of there to get to training camp, for the season. And yeah, he's been in a few movies. So he was let's see, he was in a movie with Patrick Dempsey.
Oh,
I forget what movie it was. I think it was where Patrick Dempsey was sleeping with all the. Is that the one where he was like the pizza man? He was sleeping with all the wives, and I think Swede was one of the he was one of the husbands that tried to kill him or something like that.
I thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna die when he jumped out of the airplane in this movie.
Mm.
Like, this is it. This is the
Yeah.
lead.
and that's a great little bit with him too, where he's like so nervous. Like, I love it. Of course we find out Gunny Highway's nervous too, but he does it anyways. Yeah, but I think that's a hilarious. Oh, okay. Something I wanted to bring up. There, a word is used that is used in the '80s that I'm not gonna say, but Stitch Jones basically tells him to pound sand and says, "Why don't you go back to first platoon and hey, Webster, don't go away." No, what do you say?
Don't go away, man. Just go away.
away. Yeah, and he does it all like Clint Eastwood, which is great. Now, I found this website that has the subtitles for movies. Not all movies, but this one is on there. But they conveniently edit like I conveniently edited the words, and I just wanted to say that it was where to say, "Why don't you take your ass back to to that first platoon of yours?" That's all it says. And it says, "And don't go away, mad. Just go away. You've been told."
Yeah.
So I find it funny that they I mean, rightfully so, edited something that probably shouldn't be uttered anymore. But just pointing out the differences.
I don't remember. I know I've heard a lot of the gay slur word a lot, obviously, in this movie. I mean, the insults in this film are top notch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, unfortunately, that was common language
That's
back
what I was
then.
gonna say. I don't think that it was a writer's room but
Yeah, this was
that
not.
really made it.
It was just. I mean, that's just the way people talk in movies, and
Mhm.
unfortunately in real life. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a time capsule. But if this movie were made today, they wouldn't use that language. You know, they could make this almost exact movie, but the dialogue would be altered. You know, for sure.
Would it feel less authentic then?
I think it would be perfectly fine. I mean, if they
Mhm.
were making it a period piece and it was still like set in the 80s, yeah, it'd be a little unrealistic if there wasn't, certain kind of swearing like
Yeah,
that. But honestly, it's not going to kill the movie if that wasn't in it, you know.
yeah,
But also, I wouldn't ban the movie nowadays because it used something that was in common use back in the day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You just kind of go past it and say, hey, remember when that was common? I'm glad it's not common anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah.
just, and learn from it,
I was gonna say like a Tarantino movie with the N word, like if
Yeah.
he's well, which I don't know if people should still be using that or not. That's a whole other podcast. But
Yeah, I was saying that that's not for me to say, but I mean, you can't as far as this in particular, it's gotten some criticism for that type of thing, but you can't use 2020 vision to, so to speak, for a movie that came out in 1986. And I'm
mhm,
sorry, but the military would have been using language like that. A bunch of guys together, would have been talking shit like that.
yeah,
And it's just like you said, you try to learn from it and not continue to use stuff that really, there's other swear words you can use,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
other things you could say to get your point across to insult Webster without, going there if this movie was made today.
yeah. My gosh, well, what did I learn upon viewing? Was it like pump your neighbor's dog or something? I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Coming? What the heck is this mean?
Well, right, like to me, like there are some sayings in this, and we've talked about this. Hippo Gunny and Choozoo come up with some gems, and we're like, nobody talked like that even back then.
Oh my gosh.
But they are clever, I wish I was half as sharp as they are, as far as the insults. Jeez.
No.
Okay. But after they basically send Webster on his way, I do like that old Swede Pete Koch comes up and just stands there real close to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I brought him up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's he gets the point. He gets the he's like, maybe I'm feeling a little uncomfortable right now, and maybe I better leave because I would have to imagine he knows Swede's reputation because Swede spent some time in the brig for punching a staff NCO. So, and I don't think Webster is going to take him down the same way Tom Highway did.
No.
No.
But we leave the head and we go to a party. Remember those?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
average. I remember it.
But I do like, Gunny's doing the thing. He's standing there, and of course, he looks great in his dress blues. Clint Eastwood looks great as a Marine and all that. It's hard to look bad in those damn dress blues, but
Yeah.
his attitude reminds me of what the hell's his right now? Oh, it's just what's the dude that's crazy that has tiger blood.
Oh, Charlie Sheen.
Thank you. I can't believe I can't remember Charlie Sheen.
It's crazy. And
Right.
it's tiger blood. I was like, well, crazy. The tiger blood. that
Tiger
right
blood,
there.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man.
I'm literally drawing a blank, and I'm like, all right. So Charlie Sheen from holy shit, I cannot think of any names right now.
I know.
Charlie Sheen from Major League when he's sitting there at the restaurant in his like ripped shirt and all that, and they just put a tie on him, and he's like, oh, I feel like a banker. So that's Clint Eastwood. Get all dressed up. I like this little exchange we do between him and Choozoo.
Yeah. I love the awkward direction though, where it's like Choozoo, kind of like turns to him, and then it's like, and then we start walking. I'm like, Clint Eastwood. Like,
Yeah.
I know he's a great director. Like, I know he's a great director, but like, what are you doing? Like, just walk and talk, dude. Like, it was the funniest like choreography. I don't know why. It was just very awkward.
Yeah, instead of like starting out with them walking in, it's like they have that
Now we're
pause.
by the tree, and then you turn to me, and then you turn back, and we walk. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. What do you say? He's like, I hate social functions. You're gonna love it. Your presence is requested at the MAU or Mall Commander's open house. Full military dress. Piss on that. You'll be there, Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Highway. Let's see. Where did oh yeah. stand tall, look sharp, and wear all your ribbons. Now there's a difference too. I swear he says, so these people can see a dumb, he either says fuck hero or folk hero.
No, it's a dumb fuck hero.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He says a dumb fuck hero.
Yeah.
In the subtitles it says, so these people could see a hero who isn't dead.
Wasn't dead.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, no, he says a dumb fuck hero,
Yeah.
which is exactly something like Choozoo
Yeah.
would say. So that
Who
makes
isn't
sense.
bleeding out somewhere? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, all right, well, let's find the bar. Good idea. Of course, they go through the receiving line. They're shaking hands. Remember when people shook hands?
I remember that.
In fact, they took their gloves off to shake hands even.
I know, right? Look at that.
That's crazy.
I don't see any of those Marines walking in there with their white gloves on. Why are they carrying them in their hands for?
There is a female Marine in the background. She's got her gloves on still. She's got her cover.
Oh, does she?
Yep.
I don't see anybody else that's got their. Everybody's carrying them in. They're not wearing them.
Yeah, they took off their gloves. Yeah, you're right.
Gloves
In fact,
are off. No.
yep. Yeah, they're about to be a duel. They're going to slap each
About to
other.
be a duel.
Yeah. Pistols at 20 paces.
Yeah, but they're glad. Like I said, they're glad handing. They're shaking hands. They're going through even line. It's very it's like after a wedding or
Yeah. I see our favorite colonels there right before the minute ends.
Yep. Yeah, that's right at the very end. That's it. So yeah, it's pretty much it. Do you guys got anything else you want to cover?
Nah.
I mean, I was just gonna say. So, how old was Clint in this? Because I'd heard that like Marines usually retire like 50. So was he under 50?
Oh, he's over.
Over? Yeah. Yeah, that was also quite an old face.
Yeah, he's 56 years old.
Wow.
I think when he made this movie. Well, we've tried to massage. Oh, well, Webster, the actor Moses Gunn,
Mhm.
I think he was even older. He was like 58 or 59 when they filmed this. He is by far too old to be playing a staff sergeant.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, I was like, so are they playing younger, or like, are there people over 50 in the military still?
Well, no, usually that's not the case. I mean, there might be some cases where I guess maybe some brass, like once they get up into like the Pentagon and stuff like that, they might be older. But typically it's maximum 30 years if you're lucky. Now, I was seeing a goof where somebody was trying to argue that, well, Tom Highway's too old and blah, blah, blah. And somebody was arguing that it's not really a goof because look, when does a Medal of Honor winner retire? Whenever the hell he wants to.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
did the math, and if he got Clint Eastwood, because Clint Eastwood was in the Army during the Korean War, so his real life age was appropriate for a character who would have been in the Korean War. Where it gets a little dicey is, all right, is he? And of course, this takes place in '83, not '86. So let's say he was 53 years old. He's still pushing the age limits a little bit. But I had a theory that because he was in the Army originally, maybe he got out for a few years and then got back in, and then that kind of reset his time. That explains why he's older than your average person. I actually have a buddy I went to school with who was, I think he was like 28 or 29, maybe even older when he went into the Marine Corps. He was very old for your average age to go in. He may even still be in right now, honestly. So, it happens. So I'm going with that's what happened. My little logic I've created in my head canon. Alice, you want to do some plugs before we get out of here?
Yeah, so you can listen to the podcast I'm a panelist on. Now you've seen it anywhere that you find your podcasts. You can come talk to me, friend me, whatever, message me. My Facebook is Alice Lauren. My Twitter is @PodSocialite. So yeah, just come chat with me, and I'll post the podcast that I'm on.
Excellent, and we're happy to have you on this podcast. So thank you.
Thanks for
Of course,
coming back.
thank you.
And we'll just save the rest of our plugs for Friday. Thanks, Perry. Thanks, Alice. And guys, don't go away mad. Just go away.